Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Unplugged with Guri YouTube. This is our second podcast with one and only Brittany Widrig. Brittany Widrig is born and raised in Yukon. She has been working as a real estate agent from last 6 years and was working as a fitness trainer before. She has always been a helping people person and brought those traits here in real estate career. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Took us a while to to just set this all up.
Yeah, but it looks beautiful, and I think it's working great.
Thank you. So, I wanna talk first of all about the real estate. Like, how is the market?
Well, we're noticing right now that the market is still pretty steady. People are purchasing homes, especially in that $300,000 to $450,000 price range. We're noticing that homes are moving relatively fast in that price range because of the affordability.
Is it because of what's going around in the market? Like the market is down for sure.
Yeah, we're noticing it's more of a buyer's market right now. We're noticing some homes are going for multiple offers. Some homes are going competing in offers, but most homes are selling at either the full asking price or just under.
So it's a good time to invest in a house for people who are thinking to buy a house because the market is down.
Yeah, I think it's a great time for people to invest in this market. I think there are some really amazing deals out there, especially in the newest development in Whistlebend. There is a ton of affordable homes that are on the market right now, such as some of the 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhomes on 160 Leota Street. Yeah.
So I want to talk about more about, do you know any trend, like what's really going on right now in the market?
Right now in the market, I think buyers, especially first-time home buyers, are adjusting to these new interest rates. Because purchasing in this market with interest rates at a high of, let's say, 6%, it's definitely taken some people by surprise, some new home buyers by surprise, and it's having them adjust to these new market interest rates. So I think most first-time home buyers have adjusted, and when they do the math, purchasing at even a high 6% interest rate is a better move than renting in this market where rentals have proven to be very, very high.
Sure. So like I want to talk about interest rates. What I think is, like, this is what I think, if the houses prices are down and you still buy the house even though the interest rates are up, like you can go for a variable, or you can either go for like a fixed term. Maybe the interest rates are higher, but in the long run the interest rate will come down, but you have bought the house at a lower price. Do you think it's a good idea?
I still think it's a good idea purchasing, in this market. I mean, interest rates over the years, and I can't predict where interest rates are going, but they have gone up and down. It's just a natural trend in the real estate market where interest rates come to an all-time high and they come down. Now, I can't predict a year from now or even 6 months from now where we will be. I'm hoping interest rates are going to come down, but that's definitely a good conversation for a first-time home buyer or a seasoned home buyer. That's a good conversation for them to have with their bank. Their mortgage specialist will be able to verse them on interest rates and what the best rate will be for them, and if a fixed rate or variable rate mortgage is better for them.
So lots of people who are watching here are probably into a stage of like buying their first home. Can you explain like a first-time home buyer? Like what is first-time home buyer plan? Like how does it work?
Yeah, how it works is, if you are interested in purchasing a home for your very first time in the Yukon market, I always recommend to get in touch with a with a real estate agent who will help to guide them through those steps of being a first-time home buyer purchasing a home. So the steps that I guide my first-time home buyers through, if I get a phone call from a buyer who's has their pre-approval or has their down payment saved, and they're looking to get into the market, first things first, they need to get a pre-approval done. That can be from a bank here in Whitehorse or a mortgage specialist, a mortgage broker, and I can help facilitate that in providing them with names and contact information for those mortgage specialists.
So for first time home buyer, they just need to pay 5% for the first $500,000, right?
Yeah. For first time, yeah. So 5% to the first 500,000 and 10% on that balance.
Oh, so if they cross 500,000, then they need to pay 10% only.
On 500,000, they could 5%.
But if they go up then 500,000, like
Yes, and 10% on that balance.
we didn't know that. We thought it was 20%.
Okay.
Yeah.
It depends. Again, that's a conversation that a first-time home buyer would want to have with their bank. It depends. Your bank or mortgage specialist or mortgage provider is going to be able to tell you how much you are required to put down, because it's not the same for everybody. It's based off of credit history. It's based off of a number of different factors, but it might look different for everybody. So it's always good to consult with your mortgage specialist or mortgage provider to know exactly what amount they'll need to put down for their down payment.
I didn't know that either. I thought like for the first home buyer, they need to pay 5% no matter how their credit history look like. But then after 500,000, they need to pay 10% on top of that.
Exactly.
Okay. So for other things, like pretend somebody's buying a house for the first time, what are other costs they need to keep in mind when they are buying a house, like for other than their down payment? Like closing costs, lawyer, and other things?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you're a first-time home buyer, any buyer looking to purchase in this market is really going to want to set aside not only their down payment, but money for closing costs, such as there's a number of different things that are involved in closing costs, but paying your legal fees, fuel adjustments, property tax adjustments, things like that. So you might want to set aside, I would say, upwards of an additional $5,000 on top of your down payment. Okay. And that's not firm. It's different for every home buyer, depending on what type of property they're purchasing. But I think that's a pretty good ballpark. It's about $5,000.
Okay. So what if they don't pretend they are buying the house at the moment and they don't have that payment in their hand? Like, what are the consequences?
Well, say they put an offer in on a home and they remove all conditions because financing's approved, say home insurance is approved, home inspection is approved. They remove all of their conditions off the contract, and now they're just waiting to take possession of the property. But before they take possession of the property, they go to their lawyer's office, and the lawyer says, you need to provide me this amount of money, including closing costs and your down payment, before we can close on the property. And if the buyer does not have that whole amount, if there is a shortfall, those are big consequences. Because if they don't have that money, they can't close on the property, meaning their deposit is on the line. The amount of money they put down for their deposit's on the line, and the seller could also sue them for damages for not being able to close on the property.
So then they end up paying more.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Could end up paying more than their down payment, than their deposit.
So then it gets out of hand and gets to the court.
Exactly. So they definitely want to ensure that they are pretty confident in having all of that whole amount on closing, including their closing costs as well as their down payment.
So this brings me to the another question. Like, we have lots of people working all around Canada on a minimum wage, and it seems like their dream of buying a house vanish because they think like they don't have enough money to buy all the things like the houses, because everything is increasing in price, right? So what do you suggest to those people who are working on a minimum wage and they still want to buy a house? Is there any way, like any suggestion you wanna say?
Yeah, well, I think we have to get a little bit creative here. If you're a single person on minimum wage, maybe coming together with a friend or a colleague or another person that who wants to purchase a home, coming together and purchasing that property together, right? Because then that's two incomes instead of just one. And also, it's one of those things where, maybe just one job, like having a part-time job, is definitely another great income supplement that will help to save for a down payment, will help that.
When I went to bank maybe 2 years ago, so they told me like I am approved for this amount of money, but I need more. So then they told me like you can put anybody and one of your friend into that, and then you can get more loan, and that person just need to stay on that paperwork for 2 years, and then they can take off the name also, and like you can buy the house. That's where it clicks my mind. I'm like, if the people who are working on a minimum wage, they want to buy a house, this is their chance to buy a house by collaborating with each other. And you run the business too, me too. It's all about team. You need somebody to work with. You can't work all by yourself. At the end of the day, you need somebody to work.
You do, absolutely. Coming together as a community or team, absolutely. Helping each other out. Maybe it's your time to purchase a home first and their time next, right? So you help each other out.
I want to talk a little bit about loans. Sometimes people want to the bank and they don't get the loan over there. Is there any other way they can get loan? Or is it just you have to go to the bank, and if the bank says no, you can't get, they have no choice?
Yeah, no, there is also, they can explore private lending. There are some mortgage brokers in town that do offer private lending. I would encourage them, if they're not approved with a bank, to try to go through a mortgage broker who can assist them in getting approval through private lending.
So if they go to the private lending, do they end up like more interest rate?
Yes, interest rates will be higher. And that's something that they can discuss with the mortgage broker who offers private lending. They can talk about what that looks like, how much of an interest rate they will be expecting to pay on a short-term mortgage.
Okay. So, but if they don't getting the loan from the bank, the part of the reason is there is something wrong in there.
It's possible the bank might say, we need to see, more. We need to see your credit build up, right? Because maybe your credit score is low, or maybe it's just you don't have high enough income.
Okay.
And those are two reasons why they wouldn't be approved. But private lending may be able to approve them, even if they're not approved through a traditional bank.
So what I was thinking, we have to talk about the 5% home. Remember last time we met, you told me like the 5% that you use is based on one property. Like you explain us like you can buy another property on a 5% if you're holding one property at a time. Can you explain that? Like how does that work? Because in my thinking, it's more like if you buy home on 5%, which is first time home buyer, then you lose it. But it seems like it's different if you buy a home on 5% that's your first home, but then you're buying another home at the same time, then you need to put 20%.
I'd have to, yeah, that's something I didn't verify. That's a really great question for like a mortgage broker.
Okay.
But all I can really tell you is that first time home buyer 5%. But if you're looking to buy a second property, it is possible you could still put 5% down. Again, you'd have to confirm that with your mortgage specialist because it has been done. It's case by case.
Okay. So moving towards the investment, what do you think when you are choosing the properties to invest, like not taking it as a home for living, but you are thinking from the investment perspective, what type of properties are good, like which one performs better in the market?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people are finding that Whistle Bend is a great place to invest right now. The homes that you find in Whistle Bend are all brand new.
Yes.
They're not needing any work. The insulation value is good. They're electric heat for the most part. And Whistle Bend is at the up and coming neighborhood where we will soon see commercial infrastructure being built, such as schools, grocery store eventually, restaurants, gymnastics gym, high school, and so much.
There's already one school in there. They're already working on it.
Exactly, that's almost finished.
But I'm really curious, like there's no restaurant, nothing there yet.
Not yet. So right now, it's a bit challenging because you're having to go up to Porter Creek to get gas or to go to a restaurant or a grocery store. But eventually, we will have those facilities in Whistle Bend.
So there's another place beside Whistle Bend. I forgot the name. Do you know? No, like beside between Porter Creek and Whistle Bend, there was another construction happening. Is that a part of Whistle Bend too? So that all area is
it's Whistle Bend. Yeah, so you can go back down Whistle Bend way from Porter Creek, and that's all the newest.
Yeah. Okay, I thought that might be a different name.
No, it's all Whistle Bend.
So if you are like buying the house on an investment, can you tell a little bit about equity? Like what is equity? How does it work? Like anything about equity?
Well, yeah, I mean, equity is anything that you would put, say you purchase your home at 327 and it's worth 4 years, it's worth 400,000. Well, the difference between 327 and 400,000, that would be the equity that you would have on your home.
And then they can use that money to, like, they can cash it out somehow?
Potentially, they'd have to talk with their mortgage broker or mortgage specialist that helped them get the mortgage to see if they're able to use that money towards a down payment on another home or a line of credits, that sort of thing.
Okay, that's the good thing for an investor. If you're thinking to buy a house as an investment and then prices goes up, you can cash out the money, use it somewhere else to buy another property.
Absolutely, yes.
Good. And so if we move towards Yukon now, any projects here, like where people can buy a house or maybe invest?
Well, I think Whistle Bend it's the newest subdivision that's being built right now that has so many more phases to come and so many more townhomes and multifamily housing that's coming up in there. Those are going to be really great investments. Not only now, there's a mixture of apartments, condos, townhouses for purchase, but in the next year and 2 years and 3 years, there will be more and more available. As well, there's a lot of new development downtown in Whitehorse. Apartments and condos that are downtown that are beautiful investments. Exactly, that's called the Loft, and that is such a gorgeous building, and it's almost nearing completion, and that's a great place to invest as well.
Any project in Copperidge?
In Copperidge, there is a project right now. A new subdivision is being built behind North Star.
Okay.
That subdivision, they've already started putting utilities and city water sewer in there, and they're going to start developing next in the spring of 2024. They're going to start developing. That's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous subdivision with really beautiful views.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if when I went to the Whistle Band a long time ago, there are some lots. This is the lots are for sale. Does that mean like somebody gonna build a house there, or is just like a land? You can buy the land.
Yeah, it could be that somebody's building a house there, or maybe a builder has purchased several of those lots and will start to build multifamily housing on those lots. It really depends on the location. Where in Whistle Bend are the lots that look to be undeveloped, because they could be either zoned commercial or zoned residential or zoned for a school.
This is gonna be our last topic about. Then we're gonna wrap it up about being a realtor. But before that, I have something for you.
Of course.
I bought something for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Please open it.
Thank you so much.
Since we live on a First Nation land, I think it's a pretty good gift.
Okay, it's very exciting. I was not expecting this.
No, it's an appreciation. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, wow. A totem pole.
Yeah.
Richard Shorty, he's a wonderful artist. Oh.
When I was thinking to buy this one, that's when I searched about Richard Shorty. I didn't know who he was.
He's a very, very famous Northern Shoshone artist. He's wonderful. Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to put this in my office once I finish setting it up. Thank you so much.
Do you know who is Richard Shorty?
I do know. I've seen his work around.
So let's move back to the topic about like we see lots of people in our community too, especially this is what I used to think too, like when I got my permanent residency, that assures us like, okay, we are living here permanently in this country now. Lots of people seems to be so confused about choosing their career, like what they want to do. But there are lots of people who wants to be a realtor also. So what do you want to say, like what does it takes to be a real estate agent?
It takes, this is a great topic. I'm very passionate about this because, when I started in real estate, before real estate, I always had a passion of helping people. Integrity was something I always kept at the forefront of my core values. Integrity, honesty, commitment, motivation, and just treating people with kindness. I think for those people, if I could speak to those looking to get into real estate, you want to love to help people. You want to have a passion for helping people. You want to have a passion for homes, viewing houses, traveling. Because in the Yukon, I would encourage anyone starting not to just service Whitehorse, but travel around the Yukon. Service areas like Watson Lake and Teslin and Dawson City and Haines Junction. I would encourage them to want to travel as well, because you really get to explore the Yukon that way. You really get to see the beauty of the Yukon, and that's one of the reasons that made me want to become a realtor, is getting to travel and explore the Yukon, but also having having a love for people and helping people, because helping people purchase one of the biggest investments of their life is huge. Yeah. You're part of that of that plan. You're part of that experience. You help to make that experience come to.
And if you come to Yukon, we notice it's different here than rest of the Canada for sure. I think it's important to know the culture.
You do have to know the culture.
So that it's easy for you to deal with your clients, so that you know what they want, because I think culture is the root of everything.
Culture is absolutely the root of everything. So being well versed in culture is very, very important.
So, like, if they want to be a realtor, do they need to go take any course or anything, something like that?
They do, yeah. They'd have to take the University of British Columbia's real estate salesperson licensing exam, and they can find that information on how to purchase a course and do the course through the UBC website. They would just search for.
How long they are? Any idea?
It depends. I think you can get your license if you've passed all of your assignments. You can write your exam within 4 months. If you have the whole year to study, you have to write the exam within a year from, you'd have to write the exam within a year from purchasing the course.
I'm pretty sure in the starting, everybody have a hard time in any business they do. So what about you when you started this, like being a real estate agent? How was it in the starting and how it's going now?
There is a lot of learning. There's a lot of learning involved in the start, to find a mentor. And I had a mentor throughout the first few years, and even up till now, I still talk to my mentor. But having somebody there to support is huge, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And there's so much learning involved, especially in that first stage of becoming a realtor. And I was a listener, and I have a strong work ethic, so I really I tried my hardest, and, working every day, doing open houses, meeting people, just having a positive and optimistic mindset as well, I think is what really helped me sustain my real estate business and grow each and every.
Any challenges?
I think if I were to say no, that would be a lie, because I think every real estate agent has overcome challenges, and I think challenges for me have just been learning, making mistakes, not big mistakes, but little ones, and just learning from them. I have always found that, working on yourself and improving yourself will help you to become a very strong entrepreneur. And I feel like that really helped propel me forward and overcome challenges with ease.
I think it's everywhere in any business you do. You need to be a good listener, and you need to be very conscious about everything happening around you, so that you can learn from your mistakes and then you can work on it. Absolutely. I think lots of people are very scared to make mistakes, and they think it's not good to make mistakes. I think making mistakes will teach you better. If you make the mistake, then you learn it better from your mistake.
Absolutely. You have to make mistakes in order to learn, in order to grow. Yeah. You have to overcome challenges. If everything was easy, everyone would do it. But those who persevere through, those are the ones who show up on the top.
That's what I tell people on my Instagram, on my YouTube too. I tell them, you cannot learn if you don't make the mistakes. It's the part of the game. It comes with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I think we can do the closing now. All right. Thank you very much for coming to our podcast. It was such an honor to have you.
It's an honor to
Thank you.
have
Oh,
you
yes.
here. Thank you so much.
Did somebody teach you that?
Yes.
All right, let's do that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Brittany.
You're very
Thank you very much. Yeah.